guys, I'm Jack from Phantasma Paranormal. Hope you're okay on your side of the screen. It's good to have you back. If you're a returning subscriber or viewer, good to have you back. Or if you're new, this channel is dedicated to spirit communication, my own thoughts, ideas, opinions, the odd tutorial and so on, which you can find on Talking Everything Paranormal, which is where this video is also going to be as well, in that playlist. So if you want to know my thoughts on many aspects of the paranormal, please go check out that playlist. It would mean a lot to me. Please feel free to give a comment, like, dislike, whatever you want. Share, maybe? So I'm here to talk about manipulation of audio. Is this how spirits communicate? And my opinions on how spirits could communicate or do communicate. So without further ado, let's get into this. Over the 6 years that I have been here, since 2018, I have very much enjoyed this whole journey into the paranormal. The paranormal world fascinates me. The unknown fascinates me, which I'm assuming this is why you're here. And with the paranormal, with spirit communication, I was very skeptical of it when I first started. But then when I started doing it, 6 years later, here I am. If I didn't think spirit communication was possible through radios or any sort of device, I would not keep doing this. But something is happening. You do get spirit communication. Something's communicating, an unknown entity through unknown means, but they're able to speak back to you, answer you directly, and talk to you. Does this happen all the time? No, it doesn't. It's not guaranteed. Spirit communication, no matter what you use, no matter how much it costs, whatever, spirit communication never guaranteed. But when it comes to how spirits are able to talk to us, what is the most commonly held belief, in my opinion, among the paranormal field, the paranormal world, people who do similar things to what I do, is that spirit communication happens through spirits' manipulation of audio. Let's take radio waves, for example. Now, when I'm doing a spirit box session with something like a PSB-7, now you'll see this a lot in spirit communication videos. It's very much something which a lot of paranormal investigators, people who are just interested in spirit communication start off with. And I still use it from time to time. And also things such as EVP recorders. A lot of us like to use these sort of things. I've had a few EVPs myself, what I would consider EVPs, voices out of thin air. I had a few theories running through my head for years, and I've spoken about things such as radio blips and stuff like that. But let's focus on radios for a second. So with radios, if you're able to take something like a PSB-7, or maybe even a spirit, or even a radio which has been hacked to scan at a certain rate of speed, which can't be altered, so you can either forward sweep or reverse sweep. And reverse sweep doesn't reverse the audio, it's just whether you scan up or down. That's what it means. So when I've done spirit communication sessions, and obviously if you're using a radio is going to come out. It's just inevitable. It is going to come out. Very few times I've had consistent communication where there's only been a handful of times where it's been like a back and forth, where I'm having a back and forth and it feels like I'm having a conversation with something, and you ask your questions and so on. And through manipulation of audio, if this is the case, through manipulation of audio, they're able to take the audio source and change it to form their own words and their own messages, and able to reply back to you. And so if I didn't think this was the case, I wouldn't keep on doing this, but it continues to happen. But like I said, it doesn't happen all the time. But then there's a few different theories which I thought about, and a few of my speculations which I had, such as radio blips. Some people speculate, I definitely speculated in the past, on whether spirits can take things such as radio broadcasts, interviews, lyrics from songs, if they're able to take that audio to form it into their own sort of words, that maybe it's not their voice, and what you may hear as radio, as just a radio broadcast or an interview, something like that, is actually a spirit message, but you just never realized it and you thought it was radio. However, it brings that sort of point into a lot of difficulty and a lot of troubled water, because I compared it to Bumblebee in Transformers, the first Transformers film, where he had a problem with his voice and he couldn't speak with his own voice. So he had to use words from radio broadcast, sentences from songs, lyrics and so on, and he would take that and form their messages, form his messages and so on to the other characters. But then I thought about, it would mean that spirits have to predict the next word or predict the next sentence or the next lyric of the song which is coming up. But even though they have to do that in real time, even though they have to know the word or that hasn't come out yet of the broadcast, if that makes any sense. When it comes to the manipulation of voices, there was a time a while ago, I cannot remember if it's it may be in an older video which I did on this channel, an older Spirit Box session, but there was a time when I was doing a Spirit Box session and I was using a PSB7, I believe. And so as I was doing it, going through the usual asking questions, who are you, what's your name, so on. As I was going through the sessions, and I would sometimes hear some things, but a lot of the time you hear your responses when you actually go back and you listen to it. That's a lot of the time when you hear your responses. So as I was asking the questions, there was a Jason Derulo song that kept on like popping in and out because it's radio. But as I was asking the questions, I heard a direct reply from one of my questions, and it was in Jason Derulo's voice. And I was like, okay, maybe that was just the song, popping through. But then when I went back and I decided to look up the lyrics to this song, and I cannot remember what the song was. It's not my kind of music, as you can probably tell by the Black Sabbath t-shirt. But as I looked back through the lyrics, and I found that the possible response I got was not in the lyrics. It was not in the lyrics at all. So that made me go, okay, is Spirit manipulating Jason Derulo's voice in order to get their message across to me? It seems like it very well could be possible. But on that note as well, since we're on the subject of manipulating voice, do spirits need their own voice? There was a long time ago when I was doing a Michael Jackson Celebrity Spirit Box session. Now, I've not done one of those sessions in a while, and I will do another video on that as to why, as there's a lot of reasons. But anyway, I was doing a Spirit Box session on Michael Jackson, and I was using a radio again. And as I was doing it, asking the questions, and I had the response come through which said, a visit. And I was just using a radio. But for me, it sounds just like Michael Jackson's voice. It sounded just like him. And that clip I will play for you right now. So when I got that through, I was pretty stunned, and for me it sounds just like Michael Jackson's voice, and I am a massive fan of Michael Jackson. I remember being so gutted when he died. I remember I cried quite a lot. I still am a massive fan. But when I heard that, it sounded an awful lot like his voice, which made me think, are spirits able to take their own voice, and they're able to have their own voice which they had in life, and if spirits are in fact dead people, and they're able to get it across to you through radio, which for me is another interesting question to ask, and it's another thing to speculate on, especially in the comments on maybe this particular video. So I look forward to those comments.
Making my bed one day and I was singing, and she said to my father that I could sing, and making my bed one day and I was singing, and she said to my father that I could sing, and
going on to another theory, and this is going to get into the realm of apps. Now, yes, I am still very skeptical of apps. When it comes to some people such as Josh from Hope Paranormal, we've had better conversations with recently. We still have our points of contention, still have our points where we differ, but we're able to talk about these things. There's a bit of a shift in the paranormal recently with debunkers versus full-blown believers. And me, I'm very much in the middle. I'm very skeptical on a lot of things, which is how I think you should be. You should question everything. You should question absolutely everything. But one point which he kept bringing up was maybe that the spirit that you're trying to contact, if you're trying to contact a specific spirit, but we don't know if it is that specific spirit, like for instance, Celebrity Spirit Box sessions. I've seen many that he's done where he uses the voice of the actual person. And that got me to thinking much later on about, okay, benefit of the doubt, does a spirit need their own voice that they had in their life? Is their own voice easier because it's a voice that was familiar to them in life, if it is that spirit talking? Let's just say it is that spirit that's talking. Like I have voicemails from my dad. I have a few videos from my dad which have his voice in it. And it makes me think, if I'm using something like benefit of the doubt, if I used Josh from Hope Paranormal's app, the HSB, I can't remember, I'm not sure if that's his full name, or maybe EVP Maker, and I'm able to take that audio source, and the app is able to scramble in so many different ways to where forwards, backwards, it's unintelligible completely. But the important thing is, benefit of the doubt and credit to Josh actually for this. And yes, I'm giving him praise. That is one of the only apps I've seen where you're actually able to cross-reference your own audio, because you're able to put your own audio into this thing and able to have it be altered, and you can cross-reference through it, which I feel was very good for the transparency. I feel it's very good compared to audio banks when you don't know exactly what those banks are. You don't know if it's AI. You don't know if it's sleep meditation video, Mr. Huff. You don't know exactly what it is. Whereas when it comes to programs which you're able to put your own audio into, I have a bit more patience with. So it may be the case, if I did that for my dad, using these programs, would it be easier for my dad to communicate? Well, who's to say? And who's to say on the success rate? Which, yes, it may be my dad's voice, but at the same time, I don't know if it's him, if that makes sense. There's no way to prove that. Spirits don't exactly come with ID. They don't exactly come with a passport or whatever, or a driver's license. So, would using my dad's voice be easier for him to communicate if he's more familiar with it? That I don't know. At least with cross-referencing, I'm able to go back through through the audio to check to see if it is definitely a response which was not a word, or if I got a word which was not actually there in the original audio source. So maybe the case spirits do need their own voice. It's very much possible. I've even done things with EVP Maker, which there's a few videos which I've done with EVP Maker, and there's a few experiments which I did. One experiment I did a while ago, which is one where I was just whistling. The audio source was just me whistling and humming. That's all the audio source was. And it sounds like I got something through that. I can't be 100% sure on that because, again, I'm very skeptical. But when you're able to put your own audio source into it and able to ask you questions and conduct your session as if you were doing it with, say, a PSB7, for example, it may very well give it a lot more credence. I feel like audio manipulation is definitely the main sort of method which they communicate from. But then again, it conjures up a whole bunch of new questions, such as, do all spirits know how to communicate right off the bat? Do they have to learn how to communicate? Are they taught to communicate? We don't know what happens on their side, whether they're dead people, whether they are alternate reality beings, whether they're from whether they're on an alternate Earth, which is alternate universe, which is running at the same time as ours. Yeah, I've spoken about that as well. Whole big long story. There's many things you can use. You can use like songs, you can use any sort of audio and give it a try, give it a test. There's a few tests which I'm doing, which I'm gonna bite the bullet and I'm actually gonna challenge myself, and I'm gonna use the HSB app. I'm gonna bite the bullet and I'm gonna try it. Now, will it mean I'm communicating with my dad? No. But I'm able to cross-reference the audio to see if I did get an actual response. Are spirits really manipulating this audio in real time? Well, there's only one way to find out. So I'm gonna have some experiments with that to see if that's possible. And there's a lot of people who strictly don't use radio and just use apps only. But radio, I just feel, because the paranormal and spirit communication is so unpredictable, you never know what you're going to get, and sometimes you have very clear messages, sometimes it's not so clear. But spirit communication, when you're looking for your direct answers, manipulation of audio, I feel like it is definitely the way that this is happening, and this is why we're getting communication. For me, people can argue against it till the cows come home. Something's happening. Nobody can deny something's happening. We just don't know how or why, or even who is doing it. And if you still have your doubts, I encourage you, get in spirit communication. Get yourself something like PSB7. Give it a go and see if maybe you get see if you get answers back, direct communication. Now, don't just try it once and just go, oh, well, it didn't happen, so it must not be real. You've got to keep consistently doing this, because sometimes you may not get anything. I could do 7 sessions in a week not get anything. It happens. But then maybe on the 8th day, I may actually get something that blows my mind to pieces. This happens, and it has happened. So this is why I keep continuing to do this. Waves, frequencies, and so on. They're able to take those and take sort of the noise from stations, from electronic devices, and able to convert it into their own messages. Maybe it does take them time for them to learn and to process and to do this. Maybe some are very natural at it. You don't know. Maybe their spirits are specialized in it. Who knows? These are just my own speculations and ideas. But audio manipulation, without a doubt, for me, it's real. It happens. Not scientifically proven, but for me, this is what's happening. I know this has been a bit of a ramble. These are just my general ideas, speculations. If you have any other ideas on how spirits may possibly communicate, please drop them down in the comments below. I would love to hear your thoughts, ideas, and opinions. But also, another thing, if you're sending me emails, please let me know in future if you have sent me an email in a comment in a video, because I've just been going through my emails and I found a few which I haven't answered from months ago, and they've turned up in my junk, or maybe I've just not seen them for whatever reason. I apologize, I am getting back to them. But please, if you send me an email, let me know that you have in a comment on the video, so then I can then answer you. But anyway, hope you have a good day, whatever you're doing. Enjoy your weekend, and I will see you very soon in the next video. So till then, take care. May the force be with you guys.